Hey team, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name's Jimmy. I'm a beginner off-road rider on the Honda CRF300L Rally. This is episode 2 of the Beginner Rider Series, and today we're going to do hill climbs. So let's get to it. Ready? Let's go. Okay team, so let's talk about going uphill for the first time as a beginner rider. What you want to first do is you want to have an area where it's easy, the hill that you're looking to go up is not that steep, and you have a defined line that you're looking to ride up the hill. Now I say this because it's going to be really important that you're anticipating what the terrain's going to deliver to you. So don't keep it that aggressive, keep it so that it's easy, you can focus on the training, and we're going to kick it off there. So first part harkens back to episode 1 of the Beginner Rider Series. I talked about the weightless rider and what it meant to be looking forward on the trail. Same thing goes for when we're on the bike. Now for this first part, we're just going to be looking ahead, keeping front sight focus. We're not going to focus on our body positioning and our uphill climb just yet. We're going to focus on getting familiar with the range of motion on our clutch. Once we found that, we're going to find the stall point of the engine, and then we're going to put some throttle into it and we're going to train. So let's get to it. Get on the bike, nice and easy, looking forward. Kickstand back, nice and relaxed. And what we're going to do is, as you articulate your controls, you're going to have 2 fingers reference to your handlebar. So the clutch handlebar and then the brake handlebar. And then you're either going to use 1 finger or 2 to pull on your clutch lever. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the friction zone of the clutch and how it's affected as we go uphill. So as we release the clutch, we're not going to put any throttle. We're going to be going at idle. We're going to be crawling up the hill. As the hill slope increases, the bike shifts back. We're going to quickly encounter the stall point, and you'll find that I can't release the clutch anymore, because if I do, I'll stall. Now, if you're a beginner rider, that's okay. We're going to find that range. You need to find that range so that you know the limits of the bike. So let's get started. With the bike, remember, no throttle. We're going to keep her at idle. What we're going to do is pull in the clutch, 2 fingers or 1 finger, 2 fingers reference to this handlebar, and first gear. So we're going to maintain our front sight focus, and I'm just going to start lightly releasing the clutch. So you see I'm crawling. And as we're going uphill, you'll hear the engine start stuttering. Now, in that case, the engine was so bogged that she actually stalled. That's okay. What you want to do is you want to find that limit, stay on the hill, and then bring the clutch back in, keep the engine moving. So let's get her back up. Remember, no throttle. You start lightly releasing the clutch. Now, nice good footing. Okay, I'm at the limit, and the engine's still going, but she's sputtering. If I release the clutch a little bit more, you can see that the engine just stalled. So pull in the clutch, lock her back down, not a big deal. Now we're going to bring her up the hill, releasing the clutch, finding the point where we almost stall, and then pulling the clutch in a little bit, and then stopping again. Okay, we're stopped. Pull in a little bit, and now we're stopped again. Now we're going to release the clutch, go up a little bit, and we found the stall point, so not a big deal. So let's talk about part 2 of this. What you're going to end up doing is, now we're going to start applying the throttle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find that limit, and then we're going to start using throttle, but we're not going to climb the whole hill. So go light, go light, go light. Stop at the base. Now we're going to give her a little bit of throttle. As I'm throttling the bike and my clutch is staying where it is, I'm going up the hill. So finding the nice play where you're up this hill, you find the point where you can't release the clutch more, find how you're going to give it throttle. Okay team, so we talked about the range of motion on the controls. We talked about keeping the bike at idle, and I want to bring up the next piece, which is your gearing when you're going uphill. Now we talked about the weightless rider having front sight focus, but what a lot of beginner riders are going to do, like me, is you're going to have this bike in second gear, and sure, she's going to feel like she's going well at idle on level field, but once you get up here, the engine is not geared to handle this slope. So what you're probably going to run the risk of is stalling this bike. Now that's going to lead to falling over, and thankfully I got these A-Service handguard grips. I've already fallen a number of times, that's okay. But what you're going to want to do is make sure, just like how you're planning your line, you're anticipating what gear you're going to keep this bike in. And that depends on how fast you're approaching. So at idle, keep this thing in first gear, nice hill climb. When you're trying to hit it with some pace, understand that you can have it in second gear, but be ready with your feet on the clutch to transition to first gear. So anyways, so the important piece is that you know which gear you're going uphill. It's all part of how you're planning and predicting what the terrain is going to do to the bike. You may have to drop it down to be a little bit more aggressive. So okay team, so let's talk about another aspect of going uphill, which is going to be your body position. Now, episode 1, the weightless rider, we went through different iterations of how you should initially familiarize yourself with the bike. So as I'm looking to go uphill, I'm looking to have an aggressive rider stance where I'm loose up top, my knees are gripped on the tank, and I'm above the center of mass. So for an uphill climb, the center of mass of the bike is going to be shifted toward the rear wheel, wanting to turn this bike back. Your body needs to be compensating by having a forward motion. Now what I'll say by that is watch your approach speed and the slope you're looking to go up. If you're hitting this thing too fast, you're going to buckle and jolt forward. So anticipation and going at a controlled manner, take her slow at first and then start building it up. So remember, you can also go up this thing while you're sitting. Just keep the knees on the tank. Understand that your bar is going to be more susceptible to sway and you're not going to have the same control. But overall, the principles are still the same. Front sight focus, keep your fingers lightly on the controls like the clutch, and keep the reference on the throttle. So if you feel like you have an inkling that this bike won't make it uphill, you can give it throttle and you'll be able to send it. Okay team, so now that you're getting your range on a nice easy slope, let's do this real quick. So I'm looking at this mound, I'm a beginner rider. I understand that I'm gonna keep this engine engaged because I wanna take my time and keep my inertia going forward up this hill. Why am I not crawling? Because the slower you go up this thing, the more susceptible you're gonna be to turning and sliding. So you might tip, and on a hill like this, you don't want to tip the bike or else you're going to be sliding down. So let's do this thing. So that was the overview of the beginner rider considerations when you're looking to go uphill. Take it easy and start stair stepping it, and you guys will get where you want to go. So next week I'll be looking to do a downhill video, and I look forward to doing that for you guys. So I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Hey team, I wanted to check in a little bit about this beginner rider series we're doing. I think it's great. I'm a beginner rider, and although you guys see me pulling this stuff off, I've failed a lot and I try to keep it as controlled as possible. But some things in life, you got to go for it, and you might not have all the answers. You got to learn those lessons. Nobody's perfect. Now that said, I'm going to touch a little bit on some things that definitely were worth it for the bike, and I'll just keep it short, so I appreciate you guys. So let's talk about what made a difference going off-road. I had these A-Service handguard grips. Definitely had some falls, which the aluminum lever, she's bent. Not a big deal. That's the whole point of the lever. Good thing is she did the job. My brake lever's fine. As far as going off-road, I'm learning the rookie mistake of making sure that maybe you take off the mirrors depending on how aggressive you're doing some moves. Next piece is how the bike is strapped. Some industrial cord straps knotted up. She extends out to hard hook, so instead of running this lining through and looping the front fork with some cord that's not going to scratch or do any damage. So learning. Another piece is my trailer. I got a front wheel lock. This makes it so easy, a one-person job to get this bike up. I'm not bringing the bike up, putting the kickstand down, and then figuring out, you know, doing the dance of the bike's tilted and she might fall over. So that wheel lock. So the wheel lock is a Pittsburgh motorcycle stem wheel lock. I recommend that, and awesome. This bike is meant to be ridden, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So keep pressing it, keep learning, and don't be embarrassed by this stuff. You're getting better every day. That's the intent. So there you guys have it. I really appreciate it. Before we go, somebody left a comment on episode 1, the weightless rider, how Brett Cox, who is the Moto Trek rider, a super advanced rider. I'm not even in the same planet. But I thought that was a big compliment. I look at Moto Trek videos every day to see how they're running their production and how to get better every day. So if you guys enjoyed, I hope you all did. And we're getting better here. So have a good one.